Welcome back to another episode with ByrdAdatto. As you can see, our backgrounds, the people, Michael and I are here, but our backgrounds have certainly changed a little bit since last week. Michael, what's changed since last week?
Well, we're on home quarantine now in the city of Dallas, and so ByrdAdatto is 100% working remotely, and I am waiting with bated breath for us to get through this video in quiet without kid noises or other home noises happening in this video. Plus, I've got this uh, fancy set of what may appear to be earrings in that are actually just AirPods. And trust me, according to my kids, these are really cool.
And that's the most important thing, that you're cool to your kids. We
Yes,
all.
yes,
Well, Michael, last week we shot a bunch of videos and we had a lot of comments back from a host of different people, and I think some of which has to do with the practice of medicine. And so this video really is me concentrating on the practice of medicine. Maybe you can jump in and say what's been happening since last week.
yeah. Unlike anything I've had in my career. A week ago, the conversation we were having are so different than they are right now. So a week ago, we were talking about social distancing. We were talking about the decision when medical practices were operating and how they do so safely. And certainly that's in play for a lot of medical practices. But what has changed significantly is many of the state and local governments have changed the rules around elective medicine. And so a big part of our client base have effectively been closed, whether it be from governors or, in our case, the city of Dallas. And even this weekend, the Texas Medical Board issued what they called guidance, saying that elective medicine was, they were following the kind of the protocols of WHO and the CDC. And so though it is, quote, guidance, we all know that if there's an issue before the medical board where that guidance was not being followed, that would not be a good thing. And so what has now shifted significantly is, how do we take care of our patients in this landscape where we have a pandemic in the background?
Yeah, and that leads us right to I've had this call with a lot of my clients already, is how can I still treat my patients if I can't be in the same room with them? And that seems that the result is a lot of our clients who have never used this process before are looking to telemedicine. Telemedicine's been around for a while. It's not something that's new, but it's new to a lot of our clients. It's new in the sense of people who never thought they ever needed it are starting to look to it as a resource. But like a lot of things, there are already laws in place that you have to be mindful of. Most of these laws fall either from the state's privacy laws or the federal government's privacy laws, and of course, how your medical board views them. So no matter what, you got to take care of the privacy. And we'll talk about some exemptions to that. You need to make sure that you're complying with your state's medical board rules on this, because every state's a little bit different how they view telemedicine. And then obviously the prescription of controlled substances, there are federal laws and state laws that surround it. There has been a huge shift. Last week, the Office of Civil Rights ended up putting out a notification for everybody. That notification is really about the enforcement discretion. So basically what they said is, look, with COVID-19 that's happening right now, we need to find ways in which you, the physicians, can reach out and see your patients, and it means that keeping your social distancing, but at the same time, trying to find ways in which you can use certain non-public facing remote communication products that are out there. So what am I referencing? So I'm referencing things like Zoom or even Skype or FaceTime. What are these apps that are out there that you can use? And the OCR is lucky enough to have given us some guidance as to the ones they like. So you can obviously go to look at those. But they still say, you know what, even though we're relaxing the rules as it relates to the encryption and the security protocols, you still need to advise your patient about the risk of using it. The patients still have to agree to it. Now, interesting, they actually said they can orally agree to it, since you don't have to get it in writing. Obviously, would recommend you get it in writing for them. And that you, the provider, have taken reasonable steps now to protect that patient's privacy. So what are those things that you can do? Well, one of the things is you can reach out to those providers and get business associate agreements. A A lot of the ones I just mentioned already are aware of that and will issue those. If there's a way, go look at the security protocols that are set in those applications and try to set at the highest encryption level or the highest security level, depending on the app. Again, ways in which you can try to protect the information that you're receiving. They absolutely said, look, don't use every application out there, because if you use certain applications that are what they call public facing, like Facebook Live, Twitch, TikTok, or other applications that are like that, the OCR has 100% said, no, we don't even believe those would meet the guidelines of protecting the patient's privacy. So that's the piece. The takeaway is, again, they're still interested in you communicating with your patients, so find other ways to continue to talk with them, but at the same time, not violating their privacy rights. Mike, I don't know if you want to add anything else besides on that piece.
Yeah, from a business perspective, just some thoughts there, assuming, of course, that you check the boxes. I think it's really beneficial that they've relaxed the standards, because HIPAA on the security side can be really difficult. The things I really like is I'm seeing, of course, our clients that have ongoing needs to care for patients, whether that's pediatrics or dermatology or others, that are using this as a tool to help manage the social distancing issue. For our elective medicine clients, what we're seeing, I've heard one of our friends say that one of the greatest gifts of COVID-19 is the gift of time that we all got and that we all now have that we didn't have before. And what we're seeing is some really cool things that clients are doing to deal with the sudden shift in their business. And so we've seen quite a few clients use telemedicine with their elective patients, whether surgical or non-surgical, to create a process for ongoing engagement with them and to check some of the compliance boxes that have to be taken care of. So, if the doctor is seeing a consult over telemedicine for someone who needs med spa services and kind of completes the diagnosis and treatment plan process, then they will be, ready to go if there's no change in health when the office is back open again.
Yeah, and so those are all great perspective. Obviously, there's some business decisions, but again, make sure you're following what the OCRs give us the guidance. We also do have a Banter article that has sites to the links that you can go read it yourself. And of course, for our Access Plus members, we are releasing a telemedicine consent form so that you can have the information that you need to update your forms to meet those recommended guidelines by the OCR, and obviously just in general the privacy rules that surround telemedicine. That's all we have for the day. We look forward to speaking with you later this week, hopefully tomorrow. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining us again.
Great. Yeah, thank you.